Wow, good evening, good evening. I believe that we all have been waiting for this wonderful moment where we have our guest, Maya Meg, who's going to grace this Preacher's reality talk show. And I know that most of you, you've been scratching, looking for an opportunity to know Maya Meg, because there are many people that we admire in life, but we don't have an opportunity to sit around and, have some chat with. And if you've been wondering, who is this lady? Oh, I'm telling you, you have tuned into the right platform where you'll get to know her much better. She's a friend of mine of ages. And I believe that, every time when we don't talk daily, but the day that we talk, oh, wow, it's like we've been talking yesterday. So she's a great friend of mine, and I'd like to bring her in so that you may be able to get to know her and hear from her. So, my friend, how are you doing today?
Hello, my friend. I'm
Yes.
good. I'm good. Looking at you, seeing you, I'm good. I'm really good. Thank you. And
Wow.
how are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well, and I'm happy to see you, live. It is as though you're here, you know.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I know that we wanted to do this since last year. We had a broadcast that could not, go successfully due to some technical challenges that we had. And I believe that now, today, this is an appointed time where that dream has come to pass, where we can be able to come around and, have some chat. And I believe that people that are watching you, your friends, and those who want to know you, that they're going to enjoy the conversation that I'm going to have with you. So,
I hope so, my friend. I hope so.
yes. So, for someone who doesn't know you, who is Maya Meg?
What a question.
Yes.
Well, my Meg is just something that I've recently come up with. My full name is Nomia Machebe. Those who are closest to me, lately they call me Maya Meg as a way of, lightening up a moment. I'm a very light person. I like humor. I like to be happy. I like to be around happy people. So that's what it's all about, and that's who I am.
Wow, 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 wow. And there's one thing about you. There's one thing about you because, the purpose of this talk show is to be real. Sometimes people, they admire you. They think you don't have life. What you have is, it's just that limelight, those few things that people get to know because we live in the public space where there are things that we are bound to be known of. But we have our private life. So the purpose of this talk show is to talk about our private stuff that people, might want to know about us. So there's one thing that I've learned about you, that you are so passionate about traveling. Can you talk, about that?
Woo! I get excited when you do that. Yeah, I love, ever since I've been a child, I think I've got a very active mind. So even before I travel physically, I think I actually travel spiritually. I believe that. I go places. I'm a daydreamer. But yeah, I've been to a few places where I've gone to meet new people, experience new cultures, and I cannot wait. I mean, COVID has tied me down, but I'd like now to start traveling. And mostly when I travel, as I say, I meet people, I experiment with food. I love to cook. But yeah, there are many, many places that I still want to go to. I want to explore and visit. I like to go to places that are different from where I come from. So, new experiences, that shock culture, it doesn't shock me at all. It excites me. It makes me see things from a different perspective. So, yes, I love traveling. I am toying around now with going to Morocco. So, my next trip might be Morocco. And yeah, I just want to see what's happening there.
Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, there's one thing they say about us as South Africans, that we don't like traveling, and it is an amazing thing to get to know that there are those who are passionate about traveling. Because most of the times, I don't know what is that phobia about. Whether we'll be kidnapped or we'll be bitten by mosquitoes, or I don't know what is the phobia about. But anyway, you touched on something that it's also very much important that people should know, when it comes to living, a fulfilling life that has to do with, health, a healthy lifestyle. As a person who likes traveling and going all over the world and experiencing different cultures and so forth, is there anything that you have learned, whether you have observed in some cultures, probably maybe the bad, health lifestyle, good health lifestyle? Is there anything that you can talk to us about your experience in traveling concerning the health lifestyles?
Before we come to that, let me tell you a time that I get lost in Jakarta, right?
Oh,
So I
oh,
so I fly to Jakarta, Indonesia, and this gentleman who's supposed to be my tour guide for the whole week is supposed to meet me at the airport. And because my flight was delayed halfway, then I don't have, as I'm flying, I don't have any contact with this guy. The last time I spoke to him was when I left South Africa, and he is in Indonesia. So in transit, I'm not talking to him. My flight gets delayed in the middle of my trip. By the time I get there, we are not talking to one another. So I land in Jakarta and I walk out of the airport, and I can see that he is nowhere to be seen. But what is interesting, because I waited for about 45 minutes. I don't know who to phone. I don't have his phone number because I don't have the SIM card as yet. So I just stood there in the middle of the airport. People are walking. This is in Asia. You cannot believe how relieved I was when this guy walks behind me and say, Nomia. He identified me because I was the only black person at the airport.
Wow, wow, wow.
Everyone was Asian.
Wow.
So, coming to what I've learned, I think sometimes we take it for granted who we are, our gender, our race. But on that day, to be black saved my life because he identified to be black at an Asian airport. That's how he identified me. I could have been lost. I wouldn't have known where to go to. But he just came and he said, he took a chance. He saw this black woman and he just called me by name. When I turned, I gave him a hug. You would have thought that I had known him all my life. But I was so relieved and I was so happy. I think another thing maybe I have learned with my travels is how welcoming people are generally. Traveling to Asia again, where I was most of the time, I'll be the only black person. People will be keen to help me and to chat to me. You get little kids wanting to just touch me. It's and they mean well. They just want to touch me. These kids are like 5 or 6. They've never seen a black person. They really haven't. and they want to come and touch my afro, and they want to come and touch my hand, but they're also welcoming in their homes. When I was in Bali, I think I spent over 3 days without buying food. They'll just invite me and I'll go and eat with them. So that teaches me that sometimes it's just fear of the unknown. Just to leave our comfort zones where we are surrounded by people who know us is scary. But mostly, most people are kind and they're welcoming and they're good. I learned to cook wherever I go. So they welcome me into their homes. We cook, we eat. When I leave, it's sad because someone I would have met a week ago, when they drop me off at the airport, they will cry and I will cry because that's it. I'll never see this person again. But the relationships I build whenever I travel, they are long lasting. So wherever I go, it could be a tour guide, it could be a new friend I make when I go there. Once we connect, we stay in touch.
Wow.
In terms of healthy eating, there are places I've visited where they're still very organic. I mean, Indonesia is so much like South Africa. They eat a lot of green vegetables. They eat a lot of fruits. They're very conscious of the environment. So instead of going into a shop and they sell you a fruit or a vegetable wrapped in plastic like we do in South Africa, they would use a banana leaf. You know, the leaves, not the banana peel, but the leaf itself. They use those things to wrap food that they sell in a supermarket. I was shocked. Their fences outside their houses are made of bamboo and wood. It's not wired gate like we do here. And yes, in South Africa you need to be safe, but there are some communities out there where you visit and you still feel so safe. And they're down to earth. They still eat with their hands, for instance, and they still plant rice and plant their food. They don't buy a lot from supermarkets, but they grow their own vegetables and they share in the community. So that for me is like, it has given me an aha moment. In South Africa and in many parts of the world, we depend a lot on processed food, fast foods, burgers, chips. Some communities out there, they might be poorer, but they eat healthy because they grow their own food. So those are some of the learnings that I take away when I travel.
Wow. That is so interesting. And I believe that leads us into the question of personal growth. You know, that the more you have exposure in life, you know, the more you get to mix with different people of different cultures, you know, especially people that are so far away. It's like, you know, Indonesia, you know, those Asian countries that side, they are too far from us. It's like you have gone to another planet. You know, when you go there, like you say, you were the only black woman there, so it was easy to identify you because, you know, black people don't play around that place, you know, so, but you found yourself being in that place. So when you talk about personal growth, what is it that you have to, you know, to share with us? How can one experience growth, you know, when it comes to such kind of exposure? What is your experience on that?
My experience, my friend, is that, you know, there is a personal journey. We can call it a purpose. We can call it destiny. I believe that each one of us, when you come on earth or at the physical space, God has got a path for you, and a few hurdles and a few victories along the way that you'll experience, and that you almost cannot change is how you react to it. And that forms part of a person's personal growth. And then there are experiences that we choose for ourselves, like to travel. I choose who my friends are. I choose where I work. I choose where I live. But both, I think they when you open your eyes and you look around, you find that it teaches us to welcome other people into our lives. I think it will be so much easier to live a life where you are the only person. You don't have to deal with conflict. You don't have to fight with anyone. You don't have to disagree with anyone. But unfortunately, life is not like that. So you meet people, you interact with people, they're different. I'm a woman, so I'll meet a man. I'm black, I'll meet a white person or an Asian person. I'm tall, I'm short, you meet all sorts of people. And when you almost enter into a relationship, there is this agreement that it is give and take. So you bring something into this relationship, into this experience, another person brings something. And it is the biggest thing is to accept people as they come into your life and to accept who you are so that when you interact with people, you bring your authentic self. They experience who you are. They get to know what makes you happy, what makes you tick, what makes you sad, what makes you cry, what makes you laugh. So, in terms of personal growth, it's about allowing yourself to experience all these things. The person I was yesterday is not the person I am today. That for me to acknowledge that and to know that it is growth, because by when I do that, I also understand that the person that you were yesterday is not the person that you are today. So I adapt. So personal growth is all about rising to the occasion. It's about responding to your calling or an assignment that you have on earth. And it's about navigating around it and knowing who you bring into life to help you navigate, because no man is an island.
Wow, 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 wow. And I know that there are many people who are struggling in terms of bringing the balance to that. Like for instance, being a career person or being a business person, having a family, and all that. How do you strike that balance between your work, family, traveling, and all this? Because some people choose one thing. They choose to be lifetime travelers or lifetime, workers or business people, or, just become the housewife or their husband or the house husband. I think we need to come with that concept into the media industry, because we seeing a lot of housewives of Atlanta, of Durban, I think we need to get to the house husband of Joburg and so forth, because probably
maybe you should lead by example, my friend. Maybe you should start.
Yeah, I think one must do something about that, because we do have men, in that regard. So talk to me about the balance. How do you put a balance? Sometimes you travel, you fly many hours, you have to spend a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Maybe there's a business that you need to do. Maybe there's a career that you need to take off. How do you strike that balance?
So, honestly, the word balance for me is a bit tricky, because how do you measure it? I personally think I spoke about being authentic.
Yeah.
So there are times when it is difficult to find the balance, and it's okay. Being aware of when you lose the balance, I think, is key. That is most important. So there are times when I feel I've neglected myself. Maybe I haven't slept as much, or I haven't eaten well as much, or I haven't exercised as much. Just knowing it brings me back into my path. Stressing about finding the balance is the biggest stressor. So do not worry too much about this balance. Just stay away. I think I also struggle with finding the balance. I think a lot of people struggle. But if you want to put more pressure on yourself, then keep focusing on finding the balance, because you'll never find it. There's always something to do, that next hurdle to jump, that next step to take. And just take it in your stride, be kind to yourself, be gentle, um, and just be yourself. And as I say, surround yourself with people who care about you so that they can alert you when something is not okay. Those who know you most and the best, they will tell you when something is out of balance. They will give you that feedback. But I think the body is the biggest gift that God has given us. So the body will also tell you when you're tired, when you are worried about something, when you are annoyed, when you need to rest. The body will always indicate to you. So yes, it is there, but it's not something that I worry about most of the time. Um, I I come as I am most of the time. You know that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's one question that I like to ask. Looking into personal development where you find yourself has to be reading and all that. Are you a bookworm or what's going on with you? Because most of the time when I have a conversation with you, you will refer me to reading something, reading something like, you will send me something to read, stuff like that. So I realize, okay, my friend, I think she's a bookworm. I think she's one of those that even when she has got 98 over 100, she will still cry, like my baby sister, when she has 98 out of 100, she will be crying and say, no, they robbed me. Because I don't know, are you a bookworm? Because it's like you are reading a lot. Every time I have to, oh my God. I remember one time I was talking to you, it was late at night, and I said something like, you know what, I'm working on something, maybe I'll sleep around 3 a.m. And you were like working on me there. You were telling me that, hey, my friend, you need to rest. And since from that day, I make sure that I don't call you late because the question will be, ow, so you're not resting. So because you have studied about these things, you have known exactly what is going on with our bodies, that we need to understand about, the kind of food that we need to eat, what we don't have to eat, stuff like that, because you are studying all these things. You're not just living ignorantly. So talk to us about this.
So
Your study
I've never
life,
told you
right?
this. Yeah, I do. I do. The culture of reading was put into my life by my father.
Wow.
So my father was an orphan, and he did not have much education, but he knew the value of education. So from an early age, my dad would say, my books are my toys.
Wow.
I didn't have many toys as a child. I remember one doll, that maybe that's just about it. All my other toys were books. So I think that is a habit I developed as a child. And yes, there's about 3 or 4 books by my bedside all the time. I'm one of those people who can read 2 or 3 books at the same time.
Wow.
But
Wow.
I'm an introvert, so I relate better to books than I'm not a social person. I don't go out a lot. I'm an indoor person. I stay at home. But my best friend is a book. There's a
Wow.
book, The Law of Gratitude. Have you read The Law of Gratitude?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's been one of the gifts for me. The Road Less Traveled is one of the books that has changed my life. But yes, I read a lot. I find a lot of books open your mind. They take you places. You have conversations with people that you have never met. I mean, when I read Madiba's book, Conversations with Myself, wow. I read it as if I was having a conversation with Nelson Mandela. When I read a book written by Michelle Obama, I got to know exactly her journey and what she goes through. So for me, books are more than just literature. They are experiences. When I get a book that has been written by someone that I admire or I look at from a distance, I get a lot of insights and it influences me. I read a book and I go to sleep and I wake up at 6 in the morning just to finish reading a chapter. So yes, I am a bookworm.
Yeah, so like you spoke about spending your time at home because you love your private moment where you can read and probably cook and probably do a research of the next a trip that you need to take. Like now you'll be going to Morocco, and hopefully one day you'll be going to the moon. So, but before you go to the moon, you have to talk to us about your weekends, because I've realized, being a friend of your sister on Facebook as well, being your friend, I can see that both of you, it's like you've got, life going on as sisters, and it's like you spend most of your weekends, with your sister. So how do you relate with your sister? How's family? How's sibling? And I know that you are close to your brother as well, the doctor, the man of God. You're such a wonderful family. So how do you really spend your weekends?
So yes, I mostly spend the weekend. If I'm not with my sisters, yes, I go visit my brother or I see my daughter who does not live with me. So my daughter lives with her father. She lived with me until she was 16 and then she decided enough of me and she went to live with her dad and they've got a wonderful relationship. And I understand that because actually that is the relationship I had with my father. I was daddy's girl. And so is my daughter. She's daddy's girl. So,
Wow.
but if I'm not hiking over a weekend with my sisters, I'm at the spa. The body for me is, as I said, is a powerful tool. The body carries our spirit and our soul from one place to another. I believe I have to take care of my body. So going to a spa for me is not just pampering, but it is caring for the body that carries me everywhere. So I love going to a spa, body massage, foot massage, head massage, you name it. That's what I do. If I'm not doing that, I'm at home reading, a little bit of work here and there. Yes, I work over weekends from home. And because my job is such that I interact with people all the time, my weekends are closed off. I do not interact a lot over weekends. It's me time. There are days when I get home on a Friday, park my car, and close the door. And I would walk out, I promise you, on a Monday morning. So yes, I can be a bit of too much of an introvert because that silent time, that me time, that quiet voice, no phone, no TV, no social media, I value it. So I do that over a weekend. And to daydream, I daydream a lot. I go places a lot.
Yeah.
I do. I
Yeah.
really do. Yeah, I achieve a lot of my goals in the mind before I achieve them physically. So I create time to do that. I create time to daydream. So yeah, you find me sitting all by myself, doing nothing but daydreaming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 Yeah. So, talk to us about, people have short-term goals and long ones. Talk to us about your short one and your long one. People wants to know you. They wants to know you. They want to, people want to hold us responsible, you know, sometimes by observation. They want to look at us and see where we're going. And if they see us stop going where we're going, and of which now they were happy seeing us moving that direction, then they say, wow, I don't see you these days on this library. I don't see you these days on this, on that, on that. So, what is your short-term goal and your long one?
So short term to mid term is definitely to write a book and share my story. We all have a story to share, so I'd love to do that, and that's why I'm reading Michelle Obama's book, the latest book, because I want to write a book. I also have started interacting with young people, the youth. I would love to be a person of influence. I would love to change lives. I would like to impact knowledge. I want to be a role model. And in terms of the youth, I think we take it for granted that they've got a lot of challenges spiritually, emotionally, and even physically with their bodies. I've started with a group, a small mentorship group that I am helping to figure this thing called life out. It's quite interesting because they help me a lot figure out stuff about myself. I think this might sound like, a small goal, but I would like to get a dog. I've identified a breed that I want, and it's um, a Siberian, what are they called? Those wolf dogs,
The
those big
husky.
dogs. Yeah, there we go, a Siberian Husky.
Mm.
So um, I'm still thinking about whether I want to get two of them so that it has a friend, or whether I should get one. I think they're quite expensive. I think they need a lot of attention. So maybe I'll have to get two. But I think those are my short-term goals. Long-term goals, I definitely would like to put in a lot more work into my calling, which is
Yeah,
which I
come
have
on now.
dodged for a while, but
Come on now.
yeah, I think I do now and then preach. I haven't put a lot of work into it. I've been taking it for granted and I've been doing it lightly, but it's starting to weigh heavily on my heart and my shoulders. I think there's a lot I can do, and I've identified my calling. And I have started looking into Bible verses that have got something to do with nutrition, because the body is something that is very fascinating. So I've started looking at the Bible. What was our diet? What were we supposed to eat? What is good food? What is bad food? What is food that encourages or brings up or promotes the fruit of the spirit? So I'm looking into that. That's what I'm studying now. I'm looking at for instance, what did Jesus eat? What did he not eat? I'm looking into him multiplying wine. What is wine in life and our body and in the spirit? So that is my long-term goal, to find a connection between soul, spirit, and body, and bring it together and see if there maybe I can find some balance, because I've looked
Wow.
everywhere else. I cannot find balance. And I honestly and truly believe that when God created me and gave me a soul, and then I transitioned into the physical world, and I got this body, and I pursue a relationship with him, and therefore I have a spirit, and I have that spiritual relationship with him. I think, and I hope, and I pray that there is balance in there, because I haven't found balance anywhere else.
Wow. 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 So talking about your long term, I believe that you mentioned something that was so exciting to me, as a preacher of the Word of God. Do you feel perhaps that you would be assisting churches or religious organizations or any charity organization in terms of the spirituality part of it, where you'll be able to? Do you see yourself having a ministry, which is actually in the body of Christ? It's like a department which focuses on a particular area in life, or do you see yourself starting a church where you become bishop, uh, you know, Maya Mac, you know, stuff like that. I mean, we've got different callings. There are those that are given a specific call that you assist the body of Christ. You can assist, on charity organizations, like for instance, maybe for the orphans and so forth. You travel, you go to different churches and stuff like that. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself starting your own church, being a visionary, running your own ministry, having the Superdome with hundreds and thousands of people, and you coming, you teach them, just like Joyce Meyer and other women of God? How do you see yourself?
I see myself as a partner. I think the groundwork has been done and is being done. I don't see myself as starting from scratch. I think there's quite a number of people. I mean, my brother is in ministry. I go to his church. I help out. But more and more, I see myself as a partner. A partner with mature men and women of God. I'm a baby in this thing. I'm a baby. I need to be anchored. I need someone who can guide me, and I need that person. I do not see myself as a lead person. But again, that, my friend, is that is the question I should be asking you because I mean, yeah, that's a question I should be asking you because one, I would like to open myself up to God's calling. I don't know where He's taking me. But speaking to people like you, being friends with someone like yourself, you are 10 steps ahead of me. So I think you have seen what is ahead and what is out there. So I look up to people like yourself who can guide me. Unless God still has to reveal that bigger plan, I haven't seen it. I'm seeing just 2 steps ahead of me. That's where I'm saying, and maybe that's why I'm starting with the youth. It's easy to work with the youth because they want someone to look up to. But I think I'm at a place in my life where I also need someone to look up to. As being bishop and all that, I think that's a huge responsibility. No, not yet. No.
Okay.
No.
No, I mean,
and I'm not shying away from responsibility.
Yes.
I'm not shying away from responsibility, but I'm being real. I'm being realistic. I think, and hopefully God will then bless me with a long life because I'm only kind of starting now. So there's still a long way to go.
Wow.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, and I believe that the step that you have taken is on the right direction because, everybody will tell you God doesn't tell everything at once. It goes on seasons. He will speak for a particular season so that you accomplish something that will help you grow and fulfill within that assignment. Then when you have done that, then He opens another door for another assignment. Like, for instance, a person like myself, I didn't want anything to do with being a preacher and all this. No, I grew up in those days of Bob Mabena. I wanted to become a TV presenter. I wanted to become a musician. I wanted to be like Rebecca Malope, traveling to churches, singing, and just making money, having my family enjoy the wealth, and not this thing of like thinking if I start a church, because I grew up in a time where I've seen people were giving cents. They were giving 10 cents and 5 bob and all that. I said, no, I'm not a 5 bob person, so I'm not gonna gamble for this. So my direction was totally not for what I am now. But God being God, He said, I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. He did everything to bring me
Amen.
where I am now, to do what He has called me to do. So I did not know everything when I even started. But as life progresses, then I begin to discover, okay, me, wow, okay, you qualified the unqualified for what you have in mind, So this is what I would like to also say, backing on what you're saying, that unless God speaks, because you'll never know, you'll never know. You'll never know. We might have to pull this interview after, 5 years when you have your big church and say, did you remember what you said in that interview? So, yeah, so I believe that, it's safe to say that unless otherwise. Don't never say, no, don't be
Yeah.
like me who said, no, 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 I'm not going to be a preacher. Forget it. I'm not going to be a preacher.
Yeah.
Look at me today. I look like a
Yeah.
fool.
Yeah.
If that was on record, if Facebook was then they were gonna pull it back and say, okay, read your post here. Read your post here. You said you were not gonna be a preacher and all that. But I want to thank God because you are a person that shows flexibility. You are pliable. You show yourself to be pliable in the hands of God. That whatever that God would want to do through you, He will be able to do it successful. I think God is running short of, people of or a person of your caliber. Those who say, I'm ready for anything, and I don't claim to know it all. I don't claim to be fit. I don't claim to be there. But I'm just me. I'm just available. I'm just me, a Mac. Come get me, Lord. Whatever you want me to do, send me. Wherever you want me to go, I will go. Are you sending me to Morocco to meet someone and tell them about Jesus? I will go to Morocco and, tell somebody that God loves you. So I'm so grateful to God for your life because now you have started with the young people. You are speaking into their lives. And that is a step towards where God has, for you. So I believe that God will continue to hold your hand, and we are there for each other. It's not that you'll be benefiting from me in terms of spirituality. You have another side of you that people don't know, that when you speak to me, I'm thinking, oh my God, I need to prepare a sermon on what she just said, because he just brought a big revelation. She just brought a big revelation, and you do inspire me. You do encourage me. You do challenge me. You do knock me out of my comfort zone, and I'm so grateful to be your friend. I'm so grateful, that we've been friends for ages, and it has been fruitful knowing you, and it is fruitful continuing knowing you, that you are somebody that is, pliable in the hands of God. Tomorrow you can come, join what we're doing with your brother, as preachers. And, I believe that God is equally going to use you, the way that He's been using some of us. He's got something special for you. So I'm very much happy. And tell me, before we close, what will be your last words? What will be your last words? What is it that you would want people to remember you for? What is it that you would want people to remember you for?
I don't know. I really do not know. I just have words of gratitude for you, my friend, my brother. You are also an inspiration to me. There are times when I'm going through something and I find your voice in my head and it guides me without you saying a thing. I wanted to know that. So that's all I have. Gratitude, inspiration. I think you are one of the most focused people I know, very straightforward, very honest, very authentic, very trustworthy. So I want you to know that I trust your voice. And more than you know, your voice speaks to me. And I am where I am today because I've got people such as yourself surrounding me. So thank you. I'm happy.
Wow,
I'm really
wow, wow,
grateful.
wow. Thank you very much. You are such a great blessing.
Yeah.
People like you are the dockers that if you die, I come and beat you until you wake up, you know, because we can't afford to lose people of your caliber. You know, there are a lot of people that you wish, oh my God, can you call them home for rest? Because they don't know how to live, you know. So, but for you, you know how to live. You know how to embrace others. You're not judgmental. You know, people might look at you from a distance and think, oh, maybe she's this, maybe she's that. Oh, let them get close to you. They will know how simple,
And it's
you know.
and it's okay. And it's okay. You correct. It is okay.
Yeah.
I think no one is perfect, you know? And I think no one has got one side. So some people might say one thing about you, but that's all they know, you know? That's all they know about you. No one is perfect. Let me
Yeah.
just end it there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, we have to admit that that's what makes us need God. Because imagine if I was perfect, I was gonna turn into a
Amen.
God of my own, you know. So and that makes us to become like puzzles, you know, that when we are put together, then we live a perfect life when we are together. But when we are just on our own, you discover, oh, I need this. You know, I need this, I need that. And that is not within my strength. It is within the strength of somebody else. So I just want to thank God for your life. And may God continue to bless you and to elevate you and to give you the desires of your heart. You know, I know you haven't talked about you writing a book, you know, more on that, you know, but I know that something is brewing behind the scene. That someday, you know, you will be able to publish a book that, you know, like as you said, that, you know, you want to write experiences and so forth. I believe that, you know, those that are going to read, including myself, your books, we will really be inspired, and it will be for generations even after us. So I wish you all the best, you know, on your journey, you know, this adventurous, you know, journey that you have, you know, to explore in terms of nations and cultures and all these things. So may God continue to bless you. And thank you very much for coming into the studio and share with us in this talk show, Preachers Reality Talk Show. May God bless you. It was nice and awesome to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.